All right, here's a nice question that you'll have to use the old distance equals rate times time formula. Airplane leaves Los Angeles. Here's Los Angeles. And it's going to Denver over here. And it's traveling. Its speed is 420. So it's going at 420. 30 minutes later, another plane goes the other way. It's traveling 530. And they say the whole distance between the two is 530. No, 850. So they're asking when do they meet. This one's going, I don't know, this one's going slower. This one's going slower than this one, but this one left a half hour earlier. So I don't know if it'll be in the middle. We'll say somewhere there. Okay, so I don't know the distance from where they meet to Denver. Let's call that D. So the distance from LA to where they meet, I guess this plus whatever that distance comes out to has to be equal to 850. And that's sort of the logic that I'm going to use. So the distance, let's call this one distance LA, and this one distance Denver. So the distance that the LA jet flies until they meet, plus the distance that the flight that leaves Denver, how far they go until they meet, must be equal to 850 miles. Okay, so this distance plus this distance has to be the 850. Okay, but now I know that the distance for either of these can be expressed as a rate times a time. So the rate of the LA flight times the time of the LA flight plus the rate of the Denver flight times the time that the Denver flight goes. Those things, the product or sum of those two, has to come out to 850. Well, the rate of the LA flight, they're going 420, so 420 times the time, well, they don't tell me a time. Let's just put a T, times T, plus the rate for the Denver guy, they're going 530, and they say it's 30 minutes later. Don't put 30 minutes in there because we're doing things by hours, 420 miles an hour and 850 miles, so we're doing miles an hour. So for our time, let's put 0.5. So this time will be whatever this time is minus the half an hour, okay, is equal to 850. Now I just have to solve that equation. Let's first start by doing that. So it'll be 420t plus 530t minus, I think 530 times a half is 265, equals 850. Now just gathering like terms. So this will be 950t. I'll add 265 to each side. So this will be equal to 1115, I think. And then divide both sides by 950. And when you do that on the calculator, you get 1 point something or other. 1115 divide 50 equals 1.17. So that's the time that the LA flight is in the air until they meet. And so the time that the Denver flight is in the air is a half an hour less than that. So I'd subtract 0.5 from that. But really the question is saying, how far are they from Denver? So they want this distance. They want this distance right there, or this distance. So if I figured out the time, let's just rewrite that formula. The distance that the Denver flight will be traveling will be equal to whatever its rate is times the time that it was in the air. So the rate, they're going 530 miles an hour, times the time is this one minus the half an hour. And in this case, I'll just use a decimal because this one's a decimal. Okay, so 1.17. Okay, calculate 1.17 minus 0.5 equals 0.67, and now let's times that by 530. So 357. So the Denver flight travels 357 miles, and that's when the two planes would meet. If you subtract that from 850, you'll get how far the LA flight goes. Okay, hopefully that helps you with that question.